Hi. Oh, it's too loud. Can you all hear me okay? Am I piercing the ears? Let me know if it's too loud. Maybe we should lower it a little. Okay. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Joyce, and I'm the head of communications for Google in the Middle East and North Africa. I'm really, really happy to be here today at the Arab Media Forum. It's exciting times for the media industry, and more so for Google in the media industry. And I'm really happy to see such a great turnout for this workshop. So I'm really excited to take you through it and to answer your questions at the end of the workshop. So let me first just start by explaining what is Google for Media. Google for Media is a big team within the company that focuses on enhancing and boosting the media ecosystem, and more specifically by giving them all the digital skills they need to survive in the data journalism era that we live in today. So Google for Media collaborates with news organizations, news wires, and journalists, producers, editors around the world to give them workshops, mentoring, and all the resources that Google as a company we have to enhance journalism today. And just now at the Media Center, we announced a collaboration for the first time with the Dubai Media Office and the Dubai Press Club to be able to extend a whole training program for journalists within the UAE and the Arab world. And the workshops will cover more than 3 areas. The first one being research. So as you know, and as you will see in this workshop today, we have a lot of tools that can aid journalists in gathering research, whether it's through search or trends. And in the other area, which is visualization, it's very important in the broadcast media to be able to use tools, whether it's through maps or Google Earth, and how do you embed that in your news gathering and reporting. And the third area is engagement. So engagement, today journalists need to build a community and need to interact. Google as well has a lot of tools, whether it's for YouTube or Google+, to be able to create that community. So all those products and resources that we have all come together under Google for Media and in our continuous engagement with media industry around the world. So the theme of the research of the workshop today is very specific. When you think Google, you think many things. But in the media industry today, what is the most relevant? It's search. Search to us is the heart of the web. It's the engine and the pulse that keep the web going. So I wanted to focus in this workshop on what are the research tools that journalists, and I believe there are some students in the room here, who can benefit from all the tools that we have. So in their news gathering, in trends, finding useful data sets to tell better stories, and really just to understand how Google search works. The other area is more of a deep dive into Google Trends. Google Trends is a tool that belongs to Google Search, whereby you can find out what are, through insights, what people are looking for. And we'll go into that into more detail. These are some of the areas that we'll cover: advanced search at Google, images, looking for images on Google Search, trends, public data, and Scholar. But before we delve, let's just go back in time. I don't know if people would recognize this Google Doodle. This was our first doodle in 1998. It was for the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert. We've come a long way since then. Who remembers this? Back then, we used to not search the web, we used to surf the web. When you would look at Google, you would get these 10 blue links. And today, you can see how technology has evolved, and search on these existing technology has evolved as well. There was a time when you'd have to text to get search results. As you can see with the evolution of mobile, the way information is presented to the user has changed drastically. This is Google search in 1998, 17 years ago. And in fact, I'll give you a little piece of trick. If you go to Google today and type Google in 1998, you will get that exact same layout of how we used to present search back then. So back then, it wasn't interactive. It was 10 blue links that would give you exactly what you're looking for. But we've come a long way. And let me take you through some metrics of Google search today. Google search crawls over 20 billion pages every day. We have more than 100 billion searches every month. And we have over 189 international domains. So that's google.ae, google.lb. All those are the international domains for Google. More than 50% of our traffic comes from outside the US. And 15% of every search that you see on Google is new. And without you even knowing it, we do thousands of improvements. We did more than 1,000 improvements on Google search on our algorithms only last year. Subtle changes, whether it's the layout or the algorithm, little changes that not even the user can see. But we have more engineers that work on Google than on Google search than any other product at Google, because this is the product that we started with. This was the foundation. This is how we started in a garage like this. And we believe that it's the heart of the web, and to keep information going and giving access to information in an organized manner, we need to work on search. But let's look at the human factor in all of this. So search has evolved. It's no longer just about finding the results that you're looking for. It's knowledge. I know personally, I can have so many stories of access to information that I've had through Google search, whether it's hobbies discovered or new information, whether you're a student or an academic. It's really changed the way we see information. I'm going to show you a video of how diverse today Google search is. You can search for anything, whether you're looking to study abroad or you're looking for little tips and tricks from here and there. And that's personally one of my favorite videos at Google. So this, to me, is a great video that shows how we take search almost for granted today. We can ask it how to assemble a crib, where to study abroad, or even how to impress a French girl. But some more inspiring stories of real people. So there's an American girl by the name of Caroline Moore, who was the first and the youngest girl to discover a supernova just by Googling on search. Another example is of an Australian amputee who was able to look for patents on Google search and make up his own prosthetic arm. And I'm sure many of you in the audience can have many similar stories of ways that search has inspired you. But then again, there's access to information and knowledge, but it can also change lives. We know so many stories of businesses that have started and evolved thanks to search and thanks to the way information is being provided.
Not long ago, I planted a crop of potatoes. Then suddenly they started dying one after the other. Checked out the books and they didn't tell me much. So I went and I did the search. Potato diseases. One of the websites told me that ants could be the problem. It said sprinkle wood ash over the plants. Then after a few days, the ants disappeared. I got excited about the internet. I have this friend who really would like to expand his business. So we went with him to the cyber cafe and we checked out several sites. When I met him next, he was going to put a windmill at a local school. I felt proud because something that wasn't there before was suddenly there. I realized that not everybody can be able to access what I was able to access. I thought that I need to have an internet that my grandmother can use. And so I thought about a notice board, a simple wooden notice board. When I get information on my phone, I'm able to post the information on the notice board. So it's basically like a computer. I use the internet to help people. I think I'm searching for a better life for me and my neighbors. So many people have access to information, but there's no follow-up to that. I think a follow-up to that is our knowledge. When people have the knowledge, they can find solutions without having to be helped out. Information is powerful, but it is how we use it that will define us.
It's true, information is very powerful, and if used properly, can change lives. So going back to search today, if you type anything in the search bar, this is what you get. In the past, it used to be 10 blue links. Today, you get something called the knowledge graph, which not many of you know, but it's the one box on the right side that gives you information related, whether it's related searches or what other people look for. And this is in line with the mission of Google today. We want to be able to give information without people having to ask for it. That's another example of the kind of results that you get. Voice search. Voice search today is the natural progression of how search is evolving. For those who have fat fingers, it can be a very practical way not to have to type and just to say, okay, Google. But actually, voice search, you can pretty much ask it anything just the same way you type it. How tall is the Eiffel Tower? Who built Burj Khalifa? All those are available today. And that's in line with having technology make people's lives much, much easier on a daily basis. Who knows about the Google Now cards? Google Now is also a feature of Google Search, where on your phone, if you're logged in with a Google account, you can get all the information related to your search history. So how practical is it to know before you travel if the weather is sunny in San Francisco? Or what's the nearest hotel? Or what it looks like? Or even if your flight is on time. In fact, many times you would get flight updates before even the airline sends it itself. The Google Knowledge Graph is one of the many ways that we try to give the information in a more exhaustive way. So it searches 570 million people, places, and things to be able to give you a full, complete story. It relates things together and relates searches so that it's more beneficial for the user who's searching. We think that the perfect search engine should understand exactly what you want and give you exactly what you're looking for. So for example, when you're typing Turkey, are you looking for the animal or the country? That's kind of the area that we're looking at. Let's go now into more tips and tricks that you can come out feeling not just informed, but able to use it in your day-to-day work and in your news gathering, or whether you're a student doing reports. So I'm not sure how many of you know, but if you want to know exactly, get a detailed information of what you're looking for, here's an example. You put define and a column, and you look for the word. It would give you definitions, and it would even give you how it's being used over time. You should try it after this workshop. Google Translate, of course, it's machine learning based, but it keeps on getting better. So whether you're abroad, whether you're reading an Italian menu, or you're reading a German newspaper and you don't read German, Google Translate today has a real-time scanning where you don't even have to type anything. You just scan on the text and it gives you real-time translation. But please ignore the mistakes. We're still working on that. So, ways to eliminate search and to really fine-tune your skills. If you put a negative sign, it eliminates the search terms. For example, like this. You're looking for Eclipse, minus foundation, minus plugin, and then you won't get those two words. You can even look in a specific website. So, for example, you can put elections, and then you can look specifically under whether it's a Spiegel or a Gulf News, and all the search would result under that website alone. Advanced search, you should use it. It's under the settings bar, and then you can go and look for a full set of words if you put it in quotations. You can put or, whether you're looking for a word over the other. You can put, again, the negative sign, which will eliminate some of the search terms that you don't want. And it's a really, really easy way to get more targeted and more meaningful results for you. Images. Sorry, searching for images. So many of you go to Google Images to look for things in particular. But did you know you can even look for pictures, whether it's certified for copyright use or for reuse? So that's an option that you go under More Tools, and then you can choose between not filtered by license or labeled for reuse. So that really helps the work of a journalist when trying to get pictures in a timely manner. The blue dress, gold dress dilemma. Did you know that you can look by color or by even size, and that could apply to anything else? It's very useful to, you would ask, how is Google image search very useful? Well, if you're a journalist and you want to know who else is using your picture, you can just upload it, take a screenshot, or just upload it on Google search, and you can find out all the results and who else was using your picture. And you can also have advanced image search the same way you can have for advanced search itself. I really recommend people to go to google.com/insightsearch. There's a lot of tutorials that are available there and that would give you an idea about how to really make the best use of search and how to fine-tune your results. Another area we're looking at is Google public data. So that's very useful if you really just want to look at statistical boards or public organizations that have, US bureaus or other kinds of bureaus that have published information and statistics. And if you just type in what you're looking for, whether you're doing a report or a study on unemployment or development issues, you can just go to public data. Google Scholar is another useful tool for academics. So it would take you straight to academic literature and then books, and you would be able to find out what you want in a more easy way. The second part of our workshop is Google Trends. Now, Google Trends is a free tool. It's google.com/trends. Today, the purpose behind it is for a person to be able to draw insights. What did people look for the most in Saudi, for example? Are they researching for football, or are they looking at something else? It's particularly useful when it's ahead of elections, or even the Oscars, for example. You can go to a specific country, define the period of time. It can be the last 30 months, or in the last year, or even more so. For example, I was looking for Dubai and Expo 2020, and I wanted to see the interest over time. You can compare regions, you can go on a global level, and then even Google Trends would give you related searches to Dubai Expo 2020, for example. Here's another example of those looking at, the interest of medical diseases over time. Tuberculosis versus rabies, Ebola, and the rotavirus. And I'm going to give you an example of how some media publications used it in their reporting. So, for example, the Huffington Post, when reporting about the Ebola, embedded the search trend over time to understand how people were looking for it and what were they looking for exactly. The Time, during their person or topic of the year piece, this is how they used the Ebola outbreak to give more in-depth reporting. Thanksgiving recipes. You can find out by region what are people looking for. That could be a useful one for us during Ramadan too. Or the Super Bowl. These are the cases of the US. So with Google Trends, you can subscribe to it. You just go to Google Trends, and then there's a button where you click subscribe. And this is how it would appear as soon as it would come out. So for example, the Ebola, you would get daily updates. Or you can subscribe to as they happen. This is what it will look like. Trends is available on mobile, so you don't even have to go to a desktop. It's very mobile friendly. You can immediately on the spot go and pick your terms, pick your region and your area. Again, just to wrap up on trends, plus means or. And the negative sign helps you to exclude a word if you don't want it. So for example, if you're looking jobs minus T, you would only get jobs. And a space means and. Another area that is very useful is for the business journalists in the room. We recently launched a tool called the Consumer Barometer, so www.consumerbarometer.com. And in today's multi-screen world, we've aggregated so much data that we have about how people are using the internet today. So you have over 46 countries, and that includes Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and very soon Egypt. It looks at how people are using tablets versus TVs. How are they using their phones? It also looks at their shopping behavior. Are they buying online? What are, for example, women in Saudi buying more? Are they buying makeup or are they purchasing flights, for example? You can also look at the smart viewer. When people are watching, what else are they looking at their mobiles while watching TV? And if so, is it related to the TV program or not? So unfortunately, I cannot give you a live demo now, but I urge you to go there because there's so much ample data out there. It's a data goldmine for journalists and students alike. And the depth of information you can compare Saudi Arabia to Turkey and the United Kingdom. You can even go into special age groups. So for example, women aged 18 to 24, how many times do they use their mobile phones? Or even, for example, comparing search habits, like I was saying. Before I wrap up, I just want to say that we have a very useful resource called the google.com/media tools. It will constantly be updated to provide online tutorials in Arabic as well. It's organized in a way where it helps the media kind of find the resources that they want. So whether they're looking at news gathering resources and they want to go straight into search trends and analytics, or they want to go into ways they can engage with their audiences via Hangouts or YouTube. How do you start a channel? How do you build an audience? And visualizing, Google Maps. There's a lot of ways you can embed the Google Maps API on your website, especially when you're covering crisis coverage, or Google Earth, so on and so forth. And before I wrap up, I just want to say again, thank you so much. This is just the beginning of Google Search, and more so Google for Media in the Middle East. We're really keen to do more with the media industry. We have ample resources available, and I'd love to keep in touch with all of you. You can reach me on jbaz@google.com, or if you have something even more specific and technical, you can email mediatools@google.com, and there's a big team in the US that can answer your queries. Thank you so much.